morning, everybody. Welcome to West End Temple. Those of you with us here in the sanctuary, those live streaming this Shabbat morning, Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Dennis Ross. I'm delighted to be joined by cantorial intern Sidney Lazar this Shabbat morning as Paul Burke leads us as a Bar-Mitzvah. Finally!
Yeah.
For many hundreds of years, wow, yeah. For many hundreds of years, an emerging Jewish adult took their place in the Jewish community by leading a Shabbat morning service like this one and demonstrating the ability and commitment to take on the responsibilities and accept the privileges of adult Jewish life. Paul will join us here on the pulpit to lead the service and chant from the Torah scroll as a service highlight, with the Torah, which is the 5 books of Moses, serving as the constitution and the foundation for Jewish life. The Torah is divided up into portions, with a portion assigned to each week of the year according to the Jewish calendar, and we'll hear about Paul's portion shortly. The Hebrew Torah has no vowels and no punctuation, so chanting requires a period of intense preparation. And by learning to read the Torah, Paul makes the Torah's teachings his own. Another important part of this service is the Devar Torah, the Bar-Mitzvah speech, in which Paul will offer his personal interpretation of the Torah's instructions and what it has to offer for our lives. So this is a service, not a show or performance. That means we don't applaud at a worship service like this. We smile, we quell, even behind our masks, we take delight. As we're about to begin, we ask that you limit photographs, no flash, please. Please check your cell phone one more time. And today marks the beginning of beach season, so there is no on-street parking, the police ticket. So if your car is on the street, now is a great time to run out and place it in the lot behind the temple. So we turn now to page 74 in the Siddur, joining in Hine Matov, how good it is to be together this Shabbat.
Also on page 10.
Thank you.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. ידעי, 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 הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. ידעי, 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 הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
You're welcome to join in singing. Hum with us. La la works great if you don't know any Hebrew. But please join us in reading on page 76, a prayer for health, expressing our gratitude for our well-being renewed and restored. We go by the black numbers at the bottom of the page, 76. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar, umafli la'asot. We continue on page 108, 108 with the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. We invite you, if you wish, to please rise. Okay, stand up, if you would, Paul, and face the ark. Please be seated as we join in reading page 110 in English. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMorot. We turn to page 114 for the Shema. Please rise if you wish.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated, and I'm delighted to invite Paul forward to lead us. Page 116 for the Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue on page 120. On the bottom. For us, this eternal teaching is true and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good, and beautiful. The God of the universe is truly our sovereign, the rock of Jacob, our protecting shield. God endures through all generations. God's name persists. God's throne is firm. God's sovereignty and faithfulness last forever. God's words live and endure, faithful and precious for eternity. From Egypt you redeemed us, freeing us from bondage. For that your beloved sang praise, exalting you. Your dear ones offered hymns, songs, praise, blessings, and thanksgivings to you as sovereign, the living and enduring God, high and exalted, great and awesome. God ever humbles the proud, raises the lowly, frees the imprisoned, redeems the afflicted, helps the oppressed, answering our people when we cry out. Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserve the blessing. In great joy, Moses, Miriam, and Israel respond with song 2, all of them proclaiming.
Page 122. Tehilot Oseh Fele Nora Tehilot Oseh Fele Shira Chadasha Shibechu Geulim Shimcha al sfat hayam yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai Imloch Le'olam Va'ed Yailai 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 Yailai
Please rise for the tefillah. Adonai sefa taif tifta ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chazadim Tovim, Bechonei Hakol, Bezocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, Umi Vigulam Livnei Vnehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Next page. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechachel Akol Atah Ra Lemushia, Mechachel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Ramim, Somech Nrofim Berchei Kolim, Umatir Aserim, Umechaye Emunato Lishenei Afar. Micha mocha bal givrot, umi domela, melech memit, umechaye, umatmiach Yeshua, v'nemanat halachachayot tacho, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol.
Continue our Amidah with Kedusha on page 130. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated.
Great. Good work. Very good.
We take a few moments for private prayer, after which we come together in song with Oseh Shalom on page 142.
Join me. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
We turn now to our Torah service, and for the passing of Torah from generation to generation, I'd like to call upon Paul's grandmother, Annette Katz, aunt and uncle, Mitchell and Maureen Greenstein, and his parents, Alyssa and Stephen Burke. Please come forward, and if everyone else would, please rise.
Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kema'asecha. Malachutecha malachut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor vador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai oz lemo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, heitiva v'irtzonecha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki v'chal levad batachnu, Melech Elram v'nisa Adon olamin.
And this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. And as the scroll passes from generation to generation, so too do its teachings pass from generation to generation.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol anshama tehaya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshama tehaya. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Please be seated. Paul will offer now the Devar Torah, his speech, his Bar-Mitzvah speech, in which he will interpret the Torah, give us its meaning, and teach us a lesson about how the Torah speaks to us in our lives. Okay. Take your time as
My Torah portion, Bechukotai, comes from the end of the third book of the Torah, the book of Leviticus. Bechukotai teaches us to keep God's rules and gives us a lesson on our behavior and its consequences. It tells us that when we follow God's laws and commands, God grants us with what you need. For example, if you are a farmer, God will bring rain and you will have good crops. You will have the fruit, grain, and vegetables you need. If you keep in God's ways, God will bring you peace and what is needed. Sometimes things work out this way, that people get what they deserve. But sometimes people misbehave or don't follow the rules, and good things happen to them anyway. On the other hand, sometimes people do what's right and they don't get any rewards at all. And sometimes unfortunate things happen to them. Some people blame God, others don't. Do all things that happen come from God? The Torah here talks like they do. But as for me, I don't know. It is uncertain. I like to think of behavior and consequences instead of reward and punishment. Some behavior has consequences, some doesn't. Some things are purposeful, others are accidental or a coincidence, and beyond God's control or anyone else's. As an example of consequences, a person gets a bad grade on a test, and that's not God's fault. It happened because the person didn't study as much as they should have studied. In another example, my friends and I took out our bikes, but we didn't check to see if anything was wrong. We just went straight for a ride, and I didn't realize my tire was almost flat. Only later in my bike ride, I learned something was wrong. My bike stopped, and the consequence of me not checking meant my friend and I had to walk our bikes home, instead of having fun riding them home. I didn't check and had to deal with the consequences. On the other hand, some consequences are positive. For example, helping an older person cross the street when they have heavy bags may bring them to thank you for being helpful. Delivering Purim and Tu B'Shvat bags to temple members also have a positive consequence. The recipients are glad to see you and thankful for the gifts. You feel good inside, so that is the reward. An example of an accidental consequence could be breaking your leg, skiing, or hurting yourself doing gymnastics. And some consequences are unexpected, as how we had to suddenly postpone the date of my Bar-Mitzvah and the celebration around it because of the pandemic. I worked hard to prepare for my Bar-Mitzvah. I went to Sunday school and Hebrew school. I took Bar-Mitzvah lessons, and I practiced by myself. I expected the consequence of all that work to be rewarded to be the perfect day we were planning. When I heard that it would be postponed, I was upset because I was so very much looking forward to that day, what I would say, and all that we would do, and how much fun it would be, and then it didn't happen when it was supposed to. All that hard work didn't get the reward or consequence we expected. Sometimes life disappoints us. Sometimes we can't do anything about it. And sometimes we can, as we are here today, as I lead the service and as we celebrate my Bar Mitzvah. It's a year later than we were all planning, and as I look back, it came real fast. I would like to thank the people that have helped me prepare for my Bar Mitzvah. My West End Temple family that provided me with religious instruction and taught me how to read and write Hebrew from a young age. Maura Laura, Mishwach, David Greenspan, Cantor Jen Rubin, Cantor Sidney Lazar, Rabbi Sloan, and Rabbi Ross have all helped me to get to where I am today. I looked forward to weekly classes, Shabbat services, learning new songs, potluck dinners, and celebrating holidays. The many Hanukkah parties, Purim spiels, and the Purim carnivals will always be my favorite events. Who can forget decorating the sukkah and having the contest for the longest chains? My parents help me each and every day. I thank them for not only providing my basic needs, but teaching me to keep reaching towards my goals and to never give up, even in the most difficult situations. This year especially has not been easy. There's been a lot of uncertainty, disappointment, confusion, and loss. I thank them for having patience with me and not getting angry if I stayed up in my pajamas all day or stayed up extremely late playing games on the computer. My parents also taught me that change is okay, it's necessary, and we have to make the most of it. I was not happy about postponing my Bar Mitzvah, doing remote learning, and not being able to see my family and friends during times during the pandemic. But it was necessary in order to stay safe and healthy. It definitely allowed for us to spend more time together as a family. This had both good and bad points, but I won't get into that. My brother Thomas may not know it, but he has really served as a role model to me. It's definitely not easy being Thomas's little brother. All of Rockaway knows Tom from either the Explorers, the Options Program, the Wave newspaper, the Rockaway Theater Company, or Scholars Academy. I don't know where he gets his energy from, but he is definitely unstoppable. Thank you, Thomas, for showing me that hard work and determination makes everything possible. Thank you, Thomas, for being Techie Tommy and answering all my technology questions with a smile. I would also like to thank my grandparents, many aunts and uncles, and cousins for their help and support, now and in the future. Special thanks to all my family and friends helping me celebrate today, in the sanctuary and on Zoom. Just think, 14 months ago, we have never even heard of Zoom. And now I'm so grateful that I have so many family and friends able to join in this special occasion via Zoom, many who may have not been able to attend otherwise. I am disappointed that you can't be here with me today in the sanctuary, but I know you're here with me virtually, and that means the world to me.
Great. That was great. Great delivery. Good. Let's put the book there. Stand right here. That's you're in the middle. Take a pointer. And we'll get ready to read the Torah. Now let's call up your grandmother.
For the first Aliyah, we call upon Paul's grandmother, Annette Katz.
Thank you. Is that my water? I don't know if that's. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Right next to Thomas. Say the blessing.
Bachu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Barak Atah Adonai. Eloheinu Malach Olam. Asher Baka Benu Mikol Hamim. Benatan Lenu Atarato. Barak Atah Adonai Notan Hachara.
Amen.
Okay, let me move up. Yeah, I'm going to stand a little closer to Thomas. Would you like to sit down?
No,
or-
I'd rather
Okay,
stay.
okay. Right here.
Amen. Im bechukotai telechu, be'et mitzvotai tishmeru, ba'asitem otam, benatati gishmechem be'itam, benatna ha'aretz yivula, ve'etz hasadeh yitain piryo, ve'hisig lachem dayesh et batzir, Uvatzir yasig et zara, ba'achaltem lachmechem, la'sova, bishavtem levetach, be'artzechem.
Wonderful. Second blessing.
Barak Atah Adonai. Eloheinu Malach Olam. Asher Natan Lenu Torat Imat. Bakayai Olam Nata Botashenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten Hachara.
Amen.
Amen. Give him a hug. He's your guy. Oops. Okay, and then come down.
Benatati is where it starts. Amen. Benatati. Yeah.
For the second Aliyah, Paul's brother, Thomas Burke, Ya'amod, Chaim ben Elka, v'Stephen la'Aliyah leTorah.
Blessing. Oh, he's got it. Okay.
Does he come up?
Yeah, he's coming up. Okay, stand right next to your brother.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'nu mikol ha'amim, ben natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Benatati shalom ba'aretz, ushchavtem ve'en macharid, behishpati chaya ra min haaretz, vecherev lo ta'avor ba'artechem. Oradavtem et oivechem, benaflu lifnechem lecharev. V'radfu mikem chamesha mea, umea mikem revava yirdofu. Benaflu oivechem, lifnechem lecharev. Ufaniti alechem, behifreti etchem, behirbeti etchem. Bahakimoti et briti itechem.
Wonderful. Second blessing, please.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Give your brother a handshake, a hug. Mazel tov. We finally got you out from behind the camera. Okay, for the third Aliyah, we're pleased to call upon Paul's parents, Alyssa and Stephen Burke. Ya'amdu la'aliyah l'Torah Elka v'Stephen. I'd swat that fly, but we're at a service.
Yeah.
Stand next to your guy.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'achar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ba'achaltem yashan noshan be'ashan, mipnei chadash totziyu, v'natati mishkani betochechem, v'lo tigal nafshi etchem, behitalachti betochechem, bayati lachem lileam. Where are we? I attempt to leave Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, mihiot lachem avadim, ba'eshbor motot ulechem, va'olech etchem ko mimiyut.
Wonderful. Second blessing, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Why don't you stay here for Paul's Aliyah? Now the defining moment as Paul Burke is called to the Torah for an Aliyah. Ya'amod Bar-Mitzvah Filfal ben Elka v'Stephen la'Aliyah l'Torah. Let me get you the blessing. Oh, you know what? We have it right here.
Okay. Baruch et Adonai Hamivarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, benatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Be'im lo tishme'u li, be'lo ta'asu et kol hamitzvot ha'ele. Be'im bechukotai tim asu, be'im et mishpatai tigal nafshechem. Levielti asot et kol mitzvotai, lehafrechem et briti. Af ani אעשה זאת לכם. והפקדתי עליכם בהלה את השחפת ואת החדחת, מחלות עיניים ומדיבות נפש. וזרעתם לריק זרעכם, ואכלו אויביכם. ונתתי פני בכם, וניגפתם לפני אויביכם. ורדו שונאיכם, ונסתם, ואין רודף אתכם.
Excellent, excellent. Second blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Okay, give him a hug. Doing great, doing great. Okay, so you can go back to your seats. Paul, stay right here in that chair if you don't mind turning it out so you face everybody. And Misha Beirach is next. Oh, whoops. We'll do that after.
Our charge.
Yeah, before our charge, yeah. Even in our time of joy, we hold in our hearts those who are in need as we offer a Misha Beirach prayer for healing for those who are ill. We've been asked to name from the Bima Donna Long Moran, Roland Greenstein, Julian Wisson, and Stephen Wiener. And if there are any other names you wish to include, please raise your hand and speak them aloud as our eyes meet. Okay, if there are any other names to add, we can include them after the prayer. If you are on Zoom, you're welcome to place those names into chat.
Strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Beirach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please rise for Hagba and Galila.
Israel,
please be seated for the reading of the Haftarah and its blessings. I got it. Okay, sir. All right, it's a little, we got to moved the desks back, COVID, and we
Yeah, right there.
should move them up. But okay, as high up as is comfortable
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Adonai uzi oma uzi u'menusi beyom sarah elecha goyim yavo'u me'afsei aretz vayamru av shecher nachalu avotenu hevel ve'ein bam mo'il. Haya aseh lo Adam Elohim behema lo Elohim lechein hineni modiam bapa'am hazot udiem et yadi va'et givurati bayadu kishami Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zor kol haolamim zadik bechol hadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer ve'osei ha'medaber u'mekayim she'kol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod u'letifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mevarchim otach yitbarak shimcha b'fi kol hai tamid le'olam ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Mechadesh HaShabbat. Thank you.
Now you're really done.
Paul, you're a great guy.
Thank you.
A whole year waiting. Yeah. All right. Please rise as we return the Torah to the Ark.
Shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh yameinu kekedem.
Please be seated, and I'd like to invite Paul's parents up now to offer some personal words. Why don't we have you stand, maybe, people want to hear you, so I think the microphone is better. Yeah, if you come over here to the mic, but stand close together. Got it. No problem.
Okay, Paul, we are so happy to have finally made it to this day. exactly a year later than planned. So you're a little taller, you have excellent at numbers on video games, you have a few more pairs of pajamas, your dad and I have a few extra pounds, and some more gray hairs. All that's minor. When you look at the whole picture, as you said in your Diva Torah, consequences happens whenever, good or bad, and planned or not planned. Life is unpredictable, and the only thing constant is change. There have been many changes and challenges this year, and through it all, you have kept smiling. We would like to congratulate you today on becoming a Bar Mitzvah. You have worked very hard to get to this day. You spent a lot of time practicing, and today we celebrate you and all of your hard work. One thing people notice about you is that you are always looking for ways to help others. Our wish for you is that you continue to be helpful and caring individual and a blessing to those around you. We also hope you always strive to reach your goals when you are faced with challenges. We hope you always turn them into learning experiences. Most of all, keep smiling and never give up. We are very proud of you and love you more than words can say.
Thank you.
I love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Go ahead. Good job, buddy.
Paul, you can have a seat with your parents. You can take your book too. And
All right, I have a little something to say. I've known Paul and his family for a few years now, and I'm so excited to be with them on this day. And a huge mazel tov. We worked for it, we waited for it, and now we get to celebrate, and it really paid off because that was really fantastic chanting and reading and leading. Amazing. So I refuse to believe how tall you are. When I started working at West End, working with the students became a highlight of my life, and I have to admit, singing with you, you and your friends in Shirenu, and being together in the sanctuary, praying together, was really the greatest blessing of my life that year. It wasn't just your singing and participation in religious school that made me feel proud to know you and enjoy working with you. The thing I most admire about you, Paul, is your kindness, your compassion, and your willingness to step up. Your hard work was shown in your service leading today, and your compassion and kindness is reflected in all the dedicated and loving family you have around you. As your brother and your family have shown you, though one chapter has come to an end today and you can take a deep breath, your Jewish journey really begins today in new ways. You have always set a great example for your community and your friends, and I know that will just continue, and you'll continue to inspire people to sing, pray, get up on the bima, and share your Jewish identity. So again, mazel tov, Paul, mazel tov to everyone here today who's celebrating, and I really look forward to seeing where your kindness and many skills will take you in your life. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Paul, more words for you. These from Rabbi Sloan, who sent me this and asked me to share these remarks with you. Paul, I wish I could be at your bar mitzvah today, but alas, my family is still not fully vaccinated yet. If you wanted to postpone your bar mitzvah just one more week, then we would be here, and I'd have been delighted to share the day in person with you. But I suspect you've had enough postponement for a lifetime. Your patience and resilience attributes have been perfected, and by now they are probably an art form. Now you chanted Bechukotai beautifully, and you taught us in your drash that all actions have consequences, some good and sometimes not so good. Sometimes we make things happen, like putting in the hard work required to become a bar mitzvah, and voila, or is that viola? You don't play viola, do you? No, it's voila, okay. You feel proud of your accomplishments, and your smiling face reflects how hard you worked to get to this day. And sometimes awful things like a pandemic occur and have nothing to do with anything you or anyone else you know did. Everyone has an opinion as to where this virus came from, but I don't think it had anything to do with something you, Paul Burke, did or didn't do, and I am fairly certain we weren't being punished by God. Yes, it feels like a punishment, but it's not divine in origin. And as you taught us, your Torah portion lays out fairly clearly about what will happen to a farmer who follows God's commandments. It's a fairly simple, straightforward system of reward and punishment. You want abundant crops? You better follow God's ways. You want rain to grow your crops? Well then, you better follow God's ways. And if you don't, well, God has other plans for you. The land won't give you what you want in order to feed your family or create an income to be able to support them. Like you, Paul, I am more of a natural consequences kind of person. If you don't study for your algebra exam, chances are you won't do well on it. Or if you don't check your bicycle tires before you go out with a ride with friends, well, you know what happens. But when you and your brother and your mom and dad used to deliver Shabbat goodie bags to weekly homebound or ill congregants over many years before COVID, the consequences of your visits made all the difference in some people's lives. I know how much they loved seeing Tom and you, and definitely your dad. See, that's what it means to follow God's commandments. Mitzvot like Bikor Cholim or visiting the sick and helping them celebrate Shabbat are so important to making West End congregants feel remembered. Now, this Sunday evening begins the festival of Shavuot, Zman Toratenu, the time of the giving of the Torah, and typically the Ten Commandments are recited or chanted on Shavuot morning at services. Not to take away from the awesomeness of that moment of the giving of the Torah to our people, I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that our Torah's Ten Commandments kind of fall into a natural consequences framework as well. Because if one does not follow and observe them, then I think that the world will be a whole lot messier than it already is. Imagine a world where there aren't laws against murder and theft. What kind of a world would that be? Or if we didn't honor our parents, or if we spent hours coveting and wanting what our neighbor has until we don't have it, or if we didn't take some time off on Shabbat to appreciate the blessings in our lives, or even work 7 days a week without a day off, I'm not sure that's a world that we would want for ourselves. These 10 Commandments are the glue that hold every society together. Clearly, there are disastrous consequences when we don't follow them. And I'm not sure that fearing God is reason enough to do the right thing. You're developing your own moral compass, Paul, that very well may be inspired by God and your Jewish tradition. But as you grow older and mature, you are learning to do the right thing, not out of fear or punishment, but because you have come to understand and internalize the difference between right and wrong. You have learned that following the teachings of Jewish tradition and your parents' values will guide you on an upright, moral, and ethical path. This is part of what it means to be an adult in Judaism. This is what it means to become Bar-Mitzvah. You are now responsible for your own ethical actions. No, Alyssa and Stephen, you're not off the hook. Paul, you still have parents who are not going to hand you over the car keys to you just yet. But you are now on the way to making decisions about right and wrong that have been internalized, taught by your tradition and your family. And you will begin to act not out of fear, but out of a reasoned understanding of what the right thing to do is in any given situation. And you understand what the consequences are of decisions that you will make. It doesn't mean you'll get it right all of the time, and sometimes failure can teach you just as much as success. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't ask your parents, teachers, or a rabbi or cantor for some guidance either. It's still their job and desire to guide you. But now, in the eyes of the Jewish people, you are an adult. You are responsible for your own mitzvot now. Now, Paul, your Torah portion talks a lot about rain, right? So Rabbi Sloan has a rather peculiar gift to remind you of this day in your portion. Would you come up, please? Okay, and she asked that you open it, so please do that. Yeah, look at that. You give me the tape. Yeah, wrapped well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is what it is. It's an Indonesian rain stick. If you move it from top to bottom, it makes the sound of rain falling. Do it on the mic so people can hear me. Right? You got that, Thomas? Okay, good. Sort of, it's the sound of rain falling. Rain sticks are used in some traditions to help bring rain for crop growth. We don't do that in Judaism. It's considered a little bit idolatrous. We just have a prayer for rain, which for many years was edited out of our prayer book but inserted as an option. And I always like to remind people that we don't pray for rain in the Rockaways, because if we did, it might end up in our sanctuary. And on Sukkot, we use our lulav and etrog to nudge the rain gods that we don't believe in to bring rain for an abundant harvest. So don't take this Indonesian rain stick for idolatry. The first commandment says, "You shall have no other gods besides me." That's the fear part of the 10 Commandments. You should definitely take seriously, so don't start beating the earth with this Indonesian rain stick, okay?
Okay.
But when you do shake it, I hope you will remember this day and how hard you worked to get here. Your patience and grit got you here. When you shake it, I hope you will appreciate our planet and care for it and know how much rain is important so you and the rest of the world and generations to come will be able to have enough food. When you shake it, I hope you will honor your parents who will always have your back, continue to learn about Judaism, and take its commandments to heart. When you shake it, I hope you will remember that your actions have consequences. So don't do handstands and cartwheels on a hard surface without a mat or someone spotting you. And more importantly, enjoy life. Mazel Tov on this wonderful day, writes Rabbi Sloan, and I send you and your family a big virtual hug. So if I could add just a couple of words in addition to those lovely thoughts and feelings that come from Rabbi Sloan, that Paul, you inherited from your family, in addition to all the things Rabbi Sloan said, the thing that stands out for me is a sense of integrity, of right and wrong, and there's a great measure of strength behind it and achievement to show that this is where your feet are founded, in the integrity of Torah and the integrity of your family. And somehow, by some remarkable ability that extended into your capacity to wait a year for your bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
I could not have done it. I'm telling you, you have a superpower.
I don't know how I did it.
And Sidney Lazar is laughing too, because we couldn't have done it, right? I'm speaking, it's just impossible. This is your superpower. There's a superpower inside of you.
Yeah.
We saw it today. We saw it each day as you waited
Thank
this
you.
year for today to come. And we know you're going to be using it to bless others. I believe it's Rabbi Lieb, son of Sarah, who taught that in life it's important to learn Torah, to teach Torah, as you did today. But what all that leads to is that we each become a Torah, that by your actions we see the Torah living, and you become a model and example because you are Torah. You are Torah this day as you are in so many ways each day of your life. And so, you bless us, you bless your family, you bless us here today and those with us online, Zooming, and so may you continue to bless us in the days to come. So,
Thank you.
let's join. Why don't you stand right here, and you can put the stick down. We don't need rain right now. Not until tomorrow. We want you to have whatever you're doing today to be good and
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and may God keep you.
Ken yehi ratzon. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha. V'chunecha.
Judaism, good health, laughter, joy, and peace.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Take your stick and you can go back to your friends, and I'll have you back at the end for worship. Go to the Elaine.
We turn to page 282 for Aleinu. I invite you to rise. Aleinu eshabech la'adon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kiluye ha'aratzot, velo samarnu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו ושמו אחד.
As our service comes to a close, as is our custom, we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. And Paul's family asks us to include the names of Philip Katz, Herb Caston, Barbara Johnston, Elizabeth Burke, Richard Burke, Sam Goldmere, Guy and William Goldmere, Murray and Geraldine Rothenberg, Florence and Murray Greenstein, Belle and Julius Goldmere, Harvey Levitt, Beth Jaffe, and Miriam and Sid Berkowitz. If you wish to include any other names, please speak them aloud as our eyes meet. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Please rise as we turn to the words of the Kaddish prayer, page 294. V'yit gadal, v'yit kadash, shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach yirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, v'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv, v'yimru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam U'Almei Almaya V'yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Dekudasha B'richu Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Damiran B'Alma V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shalama Rabbah Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say Amen. Please be seated. But Paul, come on back for a presentation. For you, Paul, we have a Te'udah Bar-Mitzvah, a certificate of Bar-Mitzvah, to record the service and this wonderful day. A Tree of Life plaque that goes into the Temple Tree of Life. We keep this, but you can come by and see your name on it. Right. And a Tanakh, a Bible also as well from the congregation. So, Mazel Tov, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. You can go back now. By way of announcement, tomorrow morning there's religious school. He'll be there. Yes. Yes, Paul is going to be with us tomorrow morning for religious school. And then Monday morning is Shavuot Yisker at 10:30 a.m., either in the sanctuary or you're welcome to join us online. Our thanks to Thomas Burke and Liv Musumeci for taking care of our technology needs so ably. And again, to Sydney Lazar, I know I speak on behalf of the congregation that this will not be your last time here. Yeah, I mean, once I leave, I'm not allowed to come back, but you certainly are, and I hope you do.
I'll always come back.
Okay, that's great. That makes it a perfect day. So we turn now to our closing song.
Page 353, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Please sing along. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Mazal Tov, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.